and welcome to this edition number 27 of the BSN Long Story Short. Our topic today is why are public IT systems so important to the IT world? And I'm Tim Bailey. I'm your moderator. I'm in charge of Red Technologies International Business, and I have three panelists here to talk about the topic. And I'd like to have each of them introduce themselves and give a little bit about their background. So Jehan, let me start with you.
Great, thanks so much, Tim, and thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here. My name is Jehan Chu. I'm the founder of Kinetic. Kinetic is the first blockchain investment platform, investment firm in Hong Kong. We started in 2016. I've been in this space since 2013. We've invested in over 240 blockchain and crypto companies in our history. A combination of layer one protocols, gaming, DeFi, everything. And we're also strong supporters and investors in the BSN ecosystem.
Great. Welcome. Leo?
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me on this interesting topic. My name is Leo Zhang, and I'm the Emperor Group's group CIO. So basically, Emperor Group is a Hong Kong local famous and successful conglomerate that we diversified into a lot of the retail sector, like entertainment, movie theater, financial, jewelry, watches, properties, hotel. There's a lot of things. And this year is our 80th anniversary. So I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
Thanks for joining. Yifan?
Hi, my name is Yifan He, and I'm the CEO and founder of Ready Technology. We are also a Hong Kong headquartered tech company, and we are one of the founding members of the BSN project. And I'm happy to be here.
Maybe, Yifan, let me start with you, and maybe you can talk a little bit about your view of today's internet and limitations that you see of IT systems and the internet today.
Yeah, it's a very good question. I started my own internet company back in 1997. Okay, when I was like first year in college, okay, in New York, raised some money, basically. 1996 when I just arrived in New York from China. So that was the first time, when I set up my email address, sent the first email and got a reply. That changed my whole life. That was like, this is going to change everything in the world. Okay, that was my internet was great. It's great today, but slowly when, our, human society become more, global, more complicated. So we see all kind of IT system today. Then with this, everything mixed together today, we also see a lot of problems with internet. Okay, because everything in our human history, everything always evolves. So what's the next stage for internet to evolve to? So that's actually a question I think about in past 5 years. What's the problem with the internet today? What we see here is the biggest problem is all the IT systems on internet always belong to one single company. Okay, so that means all the IT systems, what we call is private IT system. So if the IT system is only for, the company's business, it's fine. Your accounting system, it should belong to you. It's fine. But at the same time, there's so many IT systems actually serve end users. Or in some cases, IT systems, they need to connect with 10,000 other IT systems in order to some kind of business. For example, like banks, through SWIFT, you need to connect to 11,000 banks. So with current internet architecture, there's very, very awkward for IT system to talk to each other to protect the end users' data. For example, for those private systems, all the end users' data inside the private IT system, which means only controlled by one company or a couple of companies. And the end users, there's no way for them to fully control their own data. Because it's not like those big companies are evil, because that's what internet is set up for. That's not their fault. That's why we need to think about how we can make internet better. It's more transparent. The ownership should go to the end user. At least there's some way for them to control their own data, right? Also, internet should be built in a much more efficient way for as many IT systems, if they want to talk to each other, it should be much, much more efficient than today. So that's actually why I think, there will be some kind of IT infrastructure should be, something like not our own home. It's on the street, on a park. Everybody can go there. We have equal rights, so it's not like, you have my data in your home. I need to always go to your home to get my data, to access my data. I need to knock on your door, ask for permission. There will be some data built inside a park. Whoever want to go there, they go there. But you can still control your data. But when you access your data, you don't need to ask anybody's permission except yourself. So that's something, think about.
Okay, good, great. Leo, let me turn to you. So you're Group CIO at the Emperor Group, which you mentioned that you're celebrating the 80th anniversary of the company this year. So clearly, a very traditional organization. Tell us a little bit about how you're thinking as the Group CIO about new technology and how it can benefit your business.
Thank you, Tim. So yes, first of all, it's a very interesting question, especially the way that Yifan was putting it. We see the long story where, when he was starting in the university, that was probably at the time when he was starting with the Web 1.0. And then there were a lot of things that wasn't, I would just say there was so much improvement that we get into the Web 2.0, where it was not only a static data pushing anymore, then it becomes more interactive. Then you have the beginning of the of the social media and all these kind of things. And then he also mentioned some of the shortcoming of the current one. What are the pain point or actually improvement to be there? So for me, I think the whole thing to look into the new technology is more about the Web3 that we have been talking about. A lot of applications are coming up on the market. You can see that there are different types of Web3 people are doing on the social media, broadcasting, or actually different things. So we know that that's something that is definitely getting on the market, and we can actually see the benefit of it. So to me, most important thing is not only just the Web3 itself, is really looking at how to put the technology to our general public consumer and customer. Because for Emperor Group, we are 80 years in Hong Kong, and we are successful. We are very well diversified. So then the major question is how to actually use technology and give the benefit of technology to the most of to all of our users. So that's basically how I look into that.
Okay. So Leo, you've obviously, you're a technologist as your background. You've obviously looked at blockchain technologies and other related, Web3 technologies before. What have been maybe the barriers or the reasons why you haven't pursued them in the past?
Very good question. I think sometimes it's not just a barrier, it's more about the timing of things and how the whole market and how everything evolved to a certain point where the breakthrough would actually happen. So the timing has a lot to do with that, and also what the condition that we are seeing. So in that when we talk about like blockchain, different thing, blockchain has been there for a very long time as well, the technology itself. But for the general public, they all perceived blockchain as cryptocurrency, digital asset, now NFT, and that's all they know about blockchain. They don't really think blockchain has a wider use. It could be doing a lot of things, and you could be basically creating a lot of things. So that actually, to me, there are two basic questions to ask is, number one, is blockchain really just doing that? Can it be actually doing more things than that? And the second thing is technology itself, it should not be exclusive. It should be inclusive so that you can actually go wide into creating a lot of different applications. A lot of the people can be using it, not just people who are trading on the cryptocurrency or actually buying a digital asset or even investing on some digital art or something like that. That could be wider use and to the wider people. So that's how I look at it.
Great. Jehan, as someone who was very early in the crypto and blockchain space and has seen a lot of the ups and downs and the changes in the industry, how do you approach or think about this concept of public IT systems and specifically, the role of cryptocurrency or lack of role of cryptocurrency in those type of systems?
Yeah, it's kind of an ongoing conversation, right? I think that where we are with cryptocurrency right now and public kind of blockchain systems that are cryptocurrency enabled, we're still trying to like our community and our utility layer is still trying to find its feet. I think it's fair to say that in a large way, we're still kind of on the journey to find exact product market fit for cryptocurrency. I think what's clear is that there's been a lot of really good experiments that have created pretty interesting, mechanisms like decentralized finance. It's interesting in a lot of the kind of carnage that is the recent cryptocurrency markets. Actually, the DeFi mechanisms performed quite well compared to their centralized finance counterparts. So, there's some lessons to be learned, and the technology is kind of evolving. At the same time, it's also fair to say that there is an overabundance of cryptocurrency, and that we don't need all of these utility coins, and that a lot of the kind of existence of cryptocurrency does rely on a combination of speculation and aspiration, for which utility isn't really justified yet. Maybe it'll come, but it's fair to say that not all of it will. So what I like about the public IT system and the whole kind of notion of what's happening here and what's being proposed is really just about diversity of technology and options. At the end of the day, the consumer does not care whether it's on blockchain or not blockchain or cryptocurrency or not cryptocurrency. They just want it cheaper, faster, more convenient, and easier to use. And I think that goes for public IT systems where this kind of, almost an unbundling of even the decentralized stack into areas that don't require cryptocurrency to operate, I believe will be more kind of appetizing and more appealing to a different type of audience. And I think that audience will especially be enterprise, large-scale enterprise, multinational corporations, sovereigns, and governments, for whom it's difficult, if not impossible at the moment, to build critical infrastructure on a cryptocurrency-enabled layer one. It would be great if they could, but that's not really where we are. And if the SEC and if a lot of the regulatory wins are to be believed, that's not necessarily where we're headed in the near future. So I think the optionality of having public IT systems, which can provide a different type of stack, a different type of layer, I think it's good.
So Yifan, we've talked a little bit when you talked about public IT systems about public chains and the benefits of the public blockchain technology. Can you talk a little bit about the role that you see of public chains in public IT systems and what's different about how you're thinking about it from traditional public chains?
Okay. First, the public IT system is, it's a very big concept. Personally, I think all the permission chain, public chain, all are part of the public IT system, just different type of the public IT system. Because sometimes when you have like 5 companies, they working together, build a shared IT system, it's public IT system for them, right? So even Web3, I think, is one type of public IT system. Because why I think it's not public IT system itself, because it heavily still associated with crypto. So it makes that just one small tap of the public IT system, because in most time you don't need the digital access or digital ownership on something, you just passing data around, right? For as IT system. So that means, for right now, the only, operating system, because personally, I think blockchain technology is the operating system, the layer one. So the layer two is more like the application layer, right? So the public chain, permission chain, they are, a premature type of operating system for public IT systems. You can build a public IT system based on that. They are the only ones out there today. So personally, I think they will evolve, because, to be honest, it's those, no matter public chain, even most of the permission chains, they still come from the crypto world. The original purpose is to issuing and trading crypto and build the DeFi's, stuff like DeFi's around crypto. So that means, because the crypto is just one type of applications, so that means it doesn't really, as an operating system, the blockchain today doesn't fit in, are not even suitable for most IT scenarios, because the IT world is so complicated. It's not only about the crypto, it's so complicated. If we build like banking system, supplier, big manufacturers, those IT, or like Emperor Group is a very, very complicated retail system. You need to manage all the money in different industry, different retail stores. It's just very headache. So the crypto is so simple. That makes the public chains and even permission chain doesn't really suitable for most IT systems. That's why actually, first we want to come up and promote this bigger, concept called the public IT system. The second thing, everybody should begin to think about and trying to do is how to make, based on the public chain, technology or permission blockchain technology today, how to make them better and make them suitable for more IT systems. This suitable is not like only can be used by most, more and more different IT systems from different industry. It's also the efficiency needed to be much better, because right now, like Ethereum only support like 20 TPS. I mean, Alipay as a one country's payment system is supposed to like 500,000 TPS, 500,000 compared to 20. It's how they even support that kind of payment. The November 11th, it's like each second is just 2 million transactions. So that's why one big effort by BSN, by Randy and our partners is how we can slowly to improve, especially public chains, so one thing, that's why, after 2 months, we will launch the Spartan Network. The Spartan Network, the BSN Spartan Network actually supports what we call non-crypto public chains. So that's actually our first step, just, move the crypto from layer one to layer two. That's actually the first step of probably hundreds of steps in the future. Why? Because we think the biggest barrier for traditional IT systems to use public chains is crypto. Because it makes the infrastructure so expensive. It doesn't fit in, because let me say this, most IT system, IT business, their income is fiat money. You ask them to pay to the cost to become a speculative asset, which means the cost is up and down all the time. They just cannot do this as a regular business, So that's why, the first step for us, working together with all the partners from Hong Kong around the world is to move. We are not trying to get rid of crypto. We just move them to layer two, then everybody with a fixed cost on layer one, then more IT system can enjoy this kind of, IT, the public chain technology. So that's only the first step. There will be hundreds of steps. I think after 5 years, the consensus will be gone. The blacks will be gone because, why you even put the data as a black under a consensus? Sometimes we just throw data around to all the partners at the same time with the same data. After they receive data, they can process whatever they want. So everything will evolve over the time. Yeah. Tim?
Leo, you seem to be nodding when Yifan was talking about mainstream IT systems and cryptocurrencies. What's your perspective on that? Again, as a CIO of a mainstream business.
Thank you, Tim. So basically what Yifan was saying was definitely, it's actually what the right scenario, because a lot of the times it's the cost and benefit scenario. And cost is a big part. Because we might see the benefit down the road, but we actually have to pay for the cost today or yesterday. So especially when you go into the board and asking about, okay, we want to build this infrastructure, we want to build this application or something, but then a lot of the times it depends on the cost, right? Because it's just a very commercialization kind of concern. So I think for the BSN and actually what we are talking right now, trying to create some proof of concept and some use case to the market. Like I said, really want to see how you can be going into the general public so everybody will feel, even though it's not going to be just want to make sure everybody do have a feeling of, oh, okay, this is actually what it is. But then the cost itself, if I have to go into everything using the crypto, then it would just make the cost really hard to be doing that, because we are not talking about doing a letter of credit LC where it's multi-billion dollar. We're talking about could be potentially like some sort of a ticket, right? I mean, how much would you pay for when you go to watch a movie ticket? Do you expect that to be a crypto-backed kind of a ticket? It's not going to work, isn't it, right? But then if we go into where something that is not going to be so costly, then we can actually really think about from retail's perspective, what we can do to the market and how we can actually benefit the end customer. So that's why when Yifan was talking about, from the cost perspective, and that actually does help to create a lot more potential of, what we can look into the wider use case or wider use of it. Thank you.
Okay, that's a really good point that you just brought up, and I think maybe I'll ask Yifan to talk about it a little bit more. But I think that from a cost perspective, one of the big limitations, as you talk about, is just the cost of cryptocurrencies, right? And so maybe Yifan, you could talk a little bit about how you're envisioning the costs on this BSN Spartan that you're talking about, and maybe you can give a couple examples if you were to say, build an application or an NFT on a non-crypto public chain versus on a public chain that we know today.
Okay, first, if we take out the crypto, so what? For example, the three non-crypto public chains we will going to launch. One of them is non-crypto Ethereum. So when you use it, it's just like Ethereum. But when we take out the cryptocurrency, what that become? We consider that actually become a decentralized cloud services infrastructure. So which means if you consider that's a cloud, then the cost should be just pay for the resources, right? The bandwidth, the storage, and then the cloud. So you should be treating that as AWS, some similar, okay? Which means the cost that definitely is fixed or very, very stable. AWS cannot, they say, okay, guys, come to our website every single day. We will post our cost for today. It could be doubled than yesterday. It doesn't work that way. So that's why on Spartan Network, the cost for the consumed gas is fixed. Okay, of course, it's not like fixed forever, but if we do adjustment, the governance will only allow one adjustment each quarter, and for one adjustment, it can increase 20% or drop 20%. So based on the usage of the network, so we or even 5%, it could be decided as 5%. Just make sure each year the cost doesn't even we increase like 4 times, it doesn't, pass 20% increase. That then it make common sense business. It makes sense then. So that's why we actually, make the gas cost is fixed. Okay, almost fixed. So compare, and also we want people, and remember this is a decentralized network, which means it's not a AWS. AWS actually do billions of investment and build those data centers, those regions they call them, the huge investment. But for Spartan Network, actually our user, when they set up the data center for the Spartan Network, they also contribute the resources. That's why we don't want to charge them more, because they are our partners. So the cost is so low. I make a benchmark. Okay, so sometimes you need a benchmark to understand, what kind of result. Minting a traditional ERC, 721 token, or you call that NFT. That's a standard. Okay, on Ethereum today, it probably costs you $50. Okay, $50 based on today's price, and on Spartan Network is fixed 2 cents. US dollar 2 cents. That actually, for each NFT, like Leo just said, there's no way you can sell NFT-based movie tickets on Ethereum because the movie tickets is like $8 and you spend $50 for that. But on Spartan Network, you can actually issue NFT-based tickets because each ticket only costs 2 cents. It's even cheaper, probably even cheaper than the paper tickets. So that's actually, how this whole thing works.
Okay, great. Jehan, so again, back to your experience, kind of straddling both enterprise blockchain and cryptocurrency. How do you think the cryptocurrency part of the industry will react to this type of kind of non-crypto chain network? And do you even see instances where you could have, DeFi businesses that are kind of coming from the crypto world becoming involved in the BSN Spartan that Yifan talked about?
I think, predictably, the initial reaction is going to be, quite poor. I don't think that they're going to. I think that in general, that the crypto kind of community will see this as any kind of improvement, because obviously the worldview for people that are in crypto is that crypto is kind of necessary in all cases, and unfortunately that's not true. I think that over time, though, at the end of the day, it's about kind of adoption and it's about business. Like these platforms and these technologies, regardless of whether it's kind of public IT systems or blockchain, like they have to provide a service that people will find useful and are willing to pay for. And we haven't found that kind of, for the most part, haven't found that kind of product market fit at scale in the cryptocurrency world. So my guess is that over time, as large corporations and large business cases adopt non-crypto public IT systems, and more utility migrates there, I think that it will just naturally start to evolve and be adopted. I think the other thing that we shouldn't forget is that there's a strong likelihood that these kind of non-crypto public IT systems will be interoperable with crypto public IT systems, crypto public chain. So it's not a zero-sum game. It's not exclusionary. And that's why I think ultimately it's good for the ecosystem, because if a large multinational corporation can't get board approval to hold cryptocurrency to operate, and they can use these public IT systems, and these public IT systems are interoperable with public chain, that adds value and utility and value to public chain use cases. There's no one system that's going to be one size fit all. And so I think that the kind of hybrid nature of these two systems will complement each other in an ideal world. So it will take time. There will be some, kind of hurt feelings and disbelief about, what is pure and what is right and what is good. But hey, that's technology, right? May the best technology win, and that's the market, and that's technology.
Yifan, let's get down to being practical about the BSN Spartan Network. So if I'm a business and I want to get involved in this BSN Spartan Network, how would I go about doing that?
The Spartan Network project will have an official website, so you just go there. But remember, this is a decentralized cloud service. Cloud services is not for end user. So, which means if you are a consumer, you never go to AWS, register account, log in, and then you will realize you couldn't even read the manual. Okay, right. The manual, you don't even know the terms. So Spartan Network is just like I said, the decentralized cloud service is for the IT people and IT business, IT world, for them to build applications on a public, kind of environment. That's why we call that public IT system. So the end user will actually enjoy the benefits, which probably more transparent, lower cost, faster reaction, but they don't really feel the system itself. But for the IT people, they will go to our official website, which doesn't exist yet. We will announce the address, probably in 1.5 months. Go there and download the codes. Okay, there's two ways they can access Spartan Network. One is they set up their own data center. So they basically go to GitHub, download the code, install locally with the instruction, and then they begin to access to it. So I want to emphasize, for the Spartan Network, first one is 100% open source. So basically, you can check the entire codes for the non-crypto. You can even compare the non-crypto Ethereum with the crypto-enabled Ethereum and say, what's the difference? Okay, in the coding level. And also, second one is, it's free to set up the data centers. And each month there will be some free gas for you to use. So actually, if you set up the data center, if the usage is very low, you actually use them for free. Okay. The third one, very important, we keep the whole thing anonymous, which means you can set up a data center. If you buy gas, you actually can go use USDC. You also can use credit card, okay, if it's easier. But we actually recommend you to use USDC. Then that way, everything is anonymous. So we don't want to collect any of our user data because we are not in the user data business. We are in the infrastructure business. We want more people use that and build their application. Public IT system, transparency, anonymous are keys. Okay, we want to enforce our belief.
So Leo, do you any more thoughts from you about public IT systems? Like where do you see, I know you may not want to announce anything yet, but where do you see actual use cases in either your industry or other industries?
I think there are a few things. Like, first of all, I'm not trying to really differentiate whether I have to use A or use B or use C. First of all, we will look at what is the business strategy and what we really want to achieve. And if we actually have a clear mind of what we want to do, then we definitely will look into different technology and what we can do. And then we ask, for example, looking at the BSN, now we're working on some POC, definitely seems like it's something that would work for us. The goal is achieved. It actually is right for our vision, right for our strategy. Then I ask myself, why not? I mean, if things are actually working, then we can definitely use it. So with that, what I mean is, going forward, we'll definitely look into, the question that I was asking, like how would the general public feel when they start, getting different technology? In a way, it's not going to be like something very, very transformative to them in certain sense, because I think using even Web3 or even using this sort of BSN, to them, they might feel like, okay, instead of like JPG kind of sending you certain picture, then now you get an NFT, but then it's actually crypto using a blockchain technology. They may not really feel the difference, but it's just like when you're buying a mobile device. Every year, actually, there's a fundamental difference, but the end consumer, they may not see the real difference. But over time, they will start seeing things in a different way, and then they will learn more about it. And then they will have a different perspective and understand how important or how much actually that feature kind of helping them in terms of the decentralization, the transparency, and the security, because security is actually another big thing in the technology world. So I would just, so what I want to kind of say is we're definitely looking into, our business strategy and how much the technology or each different technology can help us achieve that. And this is actually going to be part of it.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Leo.
Kim, I want to give some basic examples why people even need this kind of public IT systems. So one thing is it's like I said, the user data. That's always something I think will impact all the IT managers, IT designers in the future. Where they store their end users' data. It's even their companies, employees user data where they put there. Right now, in all the websites and applications on the internet, no matter it's a website or app, all the end users' data is stored in the backend system, the private end system, like Facebook, right? All your information actually stored there. If you want to delete them, you won't be even sure if they delete or not. Okay, there's no way for you to verify that. So that's why in my mind, in the future, probably in 20 years, no personal data will store in the backend system. Okay, none. I think even in some countries there will be legislation passed to prohibiting personal data to be stored in any private IT system. Then where those data go? Which means if you log into a services where they check your credentials, that's where the public IT system come in. Then there's a public IT system not controlled by anyone. It's actually controlled by many people together, and you can build your personal data vault there. Which means you control your own small IT system, but it's still in a public domain, which means you are also a user to like hundreds of different websites. So when you do login or you interact with those websites, they no longer check your data on their database. Actually, they go to your data vault to check your data, and you have the only key. Remember, it's public IT system doesn't mean the data is public. It's the application is public accessible, but within this data vault, you still control the key, the only key, and you control it. Which means without your consent, no one can touch your data. They can, and also you can set different permission on your data. Which means for most cases, you just return a yes or no answer. Right? They don't even actually touch the content of your data. So that's a future. Okay, I'm 100% sure that's a future. I can bet with everybody in 20 years that will be the case.
So let me challenge a little bit on the security aspect, Yifan. So I think when a lot of businesses, large enterprise like a bank, hear about public chains, that it sounds scary. Right. It sounds like, it's going to get hacked. It's public. How would you respond to that?
Okay, I respond to that is first, I'm a believer of open source projects. Okay, the public chains are actually very much more secure than any private IT system. Why? Because it's not like the private IT system are bug free. They actually have tons of bugs. You don't have access to them. That's why you couldn't always looking for bugs. The public chain, you say, okay, there are always some bugs here, because it's public IT system. People always trying to find a bug. That actually makes the public IT system much, much more secure than any back-end system. Okay, but of course, when it's in the early stage, there's always some bugs. People can sometimes take advantage of that. But I think after like 5 years, the public IT system becomes so secure because millions of people are safeguard that. Make sure it's safe. For the backend system, like Leo is the only person in charge of making sure it's safe. So, but why today you say the private IT system is the most secure? It's because no one have access. They actually control the access. Then it's definitely safer, right? It's it's much bigger chance you got robbed in a park or at your home. Of course, in a park. Because it's public space, so that's why I think eventually the public IT system will become very, very secure. Because remember, just hundreds of people, thousands of people, even hundreds of thousands of people, when they begin to use that, they care about the security. They will check the codes to make sure, and also there's many people will join the effort to improve the security of the public IT systems. So I think they will be the most secure system in the world in 10 years. And also, I spent like two minutes say a user case I see for the public IT system for the privacy protection. Actually, for example, there's another company. It's also a retail. They want to actually come up a crazy idea. I think it's a crazy idea. They issue the loyalty points to their customer anonymously, which means some customer go to, for example, the restaurant and say, they say, we want to join the loyalty program, but I don't want to give you, my data, which means I don't even want you to know my IP address. I don't even want you to know my device MAC, address. Nothing. How can you even achieve that today? There's no way, because you always need to connect to their system, to use your phone to get the points, store in your phone, app. They always can collect some of the information. So you can actually set up a smart contract called the privacy protection smart contract. Very simple. Okay, when users connect to it, they connect to this smart contract first. Then this smart contract with a key to get the loyalty points. Then the restaurant business never receive any of your data, not even your IP address, not even your device information, nothing. Okay, and when the user, go to their restaurant, say, okay, I want to redeem this loyalty points, right? They can just verify they own that with that key. Then, you basically set up a 100% anonymously loyalty points program. Let your customer enjoy the loyalty point at the same time enjoy their privacy, 100% total privacy. See, the public IT system become a firewall, simple application, but it's there.
Interesting, very interesting use case, Yifan. So maybe, Leo, any final comments from you about things that you're seeing are interesting or use cases that you're thinking about?
Actually, we are starting up something on this particular BSN network. We'll see how it goes, and maybe in the future we can have more. But at this point in time, I think we're working on it. Thank you. Okay,
still early. Okay, great. Well, I want to thank each of the panelists today for being on this episode, and look forward to hearing more about public IT systems over the next several weeks and months. And again, thank you all for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Leo.